Hi, everybody. Gino Niccoli, the marketing black sheep, pounddowncrew.com. Hey, again, out on a walk and wanted to stop for just a minute and talk about the dreaded plateau. How do you overcome the plateau? You're working hard, you're losing a few pounds. If you're in your first 6 to 8 weeks, if you've watched your macros, you've probably dropped some pretty good weight, maybe 15 or 20 pounds. And so you're feeling pretty good, and then all of a sudden you hit like a brick wall, right? Now, if you've been losing weight for a while, over time, you're going to notice that you hit these plateaus usually every 4 to 6 weeks is what I see with most clients. And the reason for the plateau, first of all, when you understand that, it makes the battle a little bit easier. At least for me, it does mentally, because it makes sense. You have to remember that the body doesn't want to lose fat weight in particular. It doesn't really want to lose weight at all, muscle weight included, but it'll use muscle, it'll atrophy your muscles before it will fat weight, depending on what you're doing to support your weight loss. And it'll do that because it's easier to get at that energy than it is to get at the fat energy. And when you plateau, the reason for the plateau is that the body is trying to counteract what you're trying to do. You're trying to lose weight. Well, when your body's losing weight, it thinks that it's starving to death, or that you're trying to starve it to death, and it's going to counter that. And the first way that your body counters weight loss is that it adjusts your metabolism. This is why if you're working out and you're training, a lot of times you'll notice that when you plateau, you also don't have the stamina, the endurance, and the strength that you are used to having. Your workouts get tougher. Well, it's because your body's driving your metabolism down. It's trying to conserve energy. And so it's going to give up a lot. It's going to sacrifice a lot in that battle. Okay. But there's a way you can win this battle. Plateauing and overcoming a plateau is one of the things that I love for my clients and for myself, because A, it gives me the opportunity to win the game, and I like the challenge. And B, it lets me know that we're doing things right. Those are all really good indicators when you plateau. It's not something you've done wrong. And a lot of people, I think, they feel that way. A lot of my clients will say, well, geez, I'm working hard. I'm watching what I'm eating. I'm paying attention to my macros. I think I've got everything balanced. And then I hit this brick wall and I can't seem to lose weight. There's other people. I've got clients that work out really hard, more than they should, and they're actually heavier than they want to be. They can't get rid of the fat weight. They're not losing weight at all. They're actually probably gaining weight in the process. And so that's what I want to talk about today and help you to overcome that. Okay, so typically the knee-jerk way to solve that problem when you plateau, or when you're working out and you can't seem to get fat loss going, is that you want to work harder. That's typically what most of my clients will do too, is that I'll say, okay, so obviously I'm doing something wrong. Maybe I'm not starving myself enough, or maybe I'm not active enough, because that's the whole pretense of weight loss is if you would just eat less and move more, you'd weigh less. Well, that's not always the case, because you have all these hormones, you have this metabolic balance in there, and you have this body that's really intelligent and really careful to try to protect your long-term survival. Okay? All right, so let me make the greatest suggestion that I do to all my clients, and even myself. This is the most painful thing to hear, but it works. Stop. That's how you beat a plateau. You stop. Instead of working out harder, instead of trying to starve yourself more, I want you to actually relax a little bit. So here's the strategy. What we're going to try to do is we're going to try to fake the body, okay? We're going to try to convince the body that, we were just joking. We're not really trying to starve you to death. We're not really trying to get you to let go all that fat. We're just playing. We're sorry. It's kind of a body apology, okay? Now, what I don't want you to do is go out there and eat like crazy and, eat super rich and fattening, crazy white carbohydrate sugars and all that stuff, okay? But what I do want you to do is relax what you're doing dietetically. So food-wise. Look, here's what I mean. I usually advise that your macros should be about 40% protein, about 20 to 30%, maybe 40% fat, and then 20 to 30% carbohydrate. And again, this totally depends on, you and your body. Everybody's body is a little bit different. And that depends on if you're sedentary or if you're really working out really intensively, 3 to 5 days a week. then you should actually have a higher carb intake and maybe a little bit less on the fat. Protein's really important. Remember your macros, you guys. Protein is always going to produce the greatest energy. It also supports the muscle the best. And then my favorite part about protein is that thermogenically, it has the highest value. In other words, your body has to work the hardest to actually digest that protein, okay? Fat isn't thermogenically as high, but it takes a long time to digest. That's why your body gets so much satiation. You get less hunger when you eat more fat. And then carbohydrates provide your immediate fuel. So those are really important things. I don't care all the stuff you hear up there about a keto and low carb and, carbs are wicked, carbs are evil, and all that stuff is mostly baloney, okay? Yeah, having cake and ice cream as your 3 main meals a day, not a good idea. Wonder Bread, love you to death as a kid, but as a 50-plus-year-old man who has needed to lose some accumulated mass, got to give up the Wonder Bread, all right? But anyway, so that's an understanding your macros. Let's go back to the plateau. What's going to happen when you plateau out is your body is going to stop going the direction you want it to go. Either you're working out really, really hard and you're not losing weight, you might actually be gaining weight, and you feel like you're getting more fat. The reality is you're probably just kind of plateaued out. You can't seem to get your fat loss going. You still got the extra around the gut. You got the love handles. Ladies, you probably got it in the hips and in the thighs, and you can't figure out why. And if you're not working out really, really hard, but you've been watching your calories and you're watching how much energy you take in, and you're taking in less, you're in a caloric deficit, which is really good. You shouldn't be in more than a 500 a day caloric deficit, in my opinion. 1,000 calories is really, that should be a temporary thing. But anyway, one of those two scenarios, you've caught this pause and you're trying to figure out what's going on. Remember what I said earlier. You got to stop for a minute, and now we're going to fake the body. We're going to tease the body into thinking that we were just kidding. So here's what we want to do. First thing I want you to do is raise your caloric intake by about 100, maybe 200 calories a day. Should still be in a deficit, but we want that deficit to be very small. Okay, maybe a couple 100, 300 calories. The point is that I need you to bring the calories up just a little bit. This is going to tell the body that you're actually you're gonna relax. You're gonna start giving it a little more food. You were just kidding, right? The other thing we want to do is that whatever we're doing for activity, I would want to reduce that activity. I'm not going to say stop it. It depends on each particular person or client. You're welcome to, hit me up with questions here in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you guys. But you do want to relax the activity, especially if you're doing cardio. Knock off the cardio, okay? No spin classes, no pedal bikes at home, none of the jazzercise. Leave the cardio alone, okay? If you're walking, which is fantastic, don't walk faster than about 3 miles an hour. Somewhere between 2.5 and 3 miles an hour is perfect. Anything faster than that, and we're burning the wrong kind of fuel, okay? We're gonna just continue to get skinny fat, skinny fat, skinny fat, instead of leaner and leaner and leaner, all right? But in backing off the cardio, if you're working out, if you're doing weight training, I would even tell you to relax the weight training. Maybe 1 day a week for about 30 minutes, and that's about it, okay? Now, if you do that for a week, you will more than likely notice that you actually lose weight, right? It's the craziest thing for myself and all my clients, 100% of my clients can't figure this out, because if you're really goal-oriented, if you're really going for it and you're trying to make it happen, this is so counterintuitive, because what you really want to do is work harder, right? You want to cut your calories even further. You want to check your macros. Maybe you're making some mistakes. Maybe you could just cut off one more meal. If you're out there exercising, you're thinking I could just add another hour of activity. That's the wrong move to make. What you want to do is relax the body and do it for at least a week. And in that week, you're going to find more than likely you'll actually lose weight. Now, you can do it a second week, but usually that's about it. That's where the body starts to catch on to your game and then stops giving you any fat loss at that point, Okay, but that's how you beat the plateau. And then you go back and you make that slight adjustment down further into your caloric deficit, and you bring your activity back up again, and you'll continue to go right back to losing fat again for another 4 to 6 weeks. And then your body's going to catch you again. Here comes that plateau. So I hope that helps this morning. I hope that that'll give you guys some good stuff. Look, if you hit a plateau, it's not a bad thing. It's a great thing. It means your body's working. It means that your metabolic system is functioning. It means that your hormonal systems are functioning. Now we just get to manipulate that stuff. Anyway, I hope you guys will take a second and subscribe to the channel. I hope you'll leave comments, questions. I'd love to see some thumbs up, thumbs down if the information's not helping. But look, you guys can win. We can win the fat loss game, but you have to remember how the body works, and you got to play the game. Let's get out there and win this thing, you guys. Hope you have a great week. See you next week. Bye for now.